Thank you. Councillor Mytton.
Just taking a little deep breath. Do my ears deceive me? I cannot believe what I am hearing tonight from this so-called opposition, Mr. Mayor. I'm going to take my time, and this time, because I get so passionate about my role as a councillor, I've made some notes, and quickly made some notes as I've heard some of the rhetoric from Councillor Carter and colleagues. Since you have been in opposition 7 years, you say that you've been backed into a corner. You have sat in workshops year after year and you say that you can't work things out that are palatable. Then why on earth are you sitting in the workshops? You were in those workshops to be able to run through those suggested efficiency savings, or cuts, call them whatever you like, in order to make collective informed decisions. You are contradicting everything you are saying. One councillor just said that she cannot support this budget because of the political makeup of this council. Well, let me tell you something. If the shoe was on the other foot, you would not be saying that. You'd be quite happy to make those decisions. Year after year, I have heard the same questions and the same narrative from the opposition. I feel like I am in Groundhog Day. Nothing has changed. You have never in 7 years come up with an alternative budget. You claim you haven't had time. That's unacceptable to the residents of Merthyr Tydfil. You have had sufficient time. The same time the independent-led administration has had since they received this budget and the settlement from Welsh Government, a Labour-run Welsh Government, of which I support some aspects of it and I don't in others. You talk about cuts by this independent administration, yet let me remind you that every department in Welsh Government has made severe cuts just this week in their draft budget, and then they confirm budget themselves. We all have to make tough decisions. This independent administration is happy to make tough decisions when we need to protect this council and to protect the residents of Merthyr Tydfil. And that is why I and all of us are sat here to protect this council, its staff and the people of Merthyr Tydfil. Now, you mentioned reserves. And my colleague David said we should be using reserves. Yet you're calling us out when we talk about using reserves. You did it last year and you did it the year before. Hence why I'm saying I feel like I'm in Groundhog Day. We are in an extremely vulnerable position. Have you not read the news and what has happened to Birmingham City Council and other councils alike? You are saying you're not going to vote and support this budget despite the information given to you by the seniority and chief executive of this council. It's unbelievable. I've said to you that you haven't come up with an alternative. And in some aspects, I can understand why you haven't, because guess what? We have no choice. We've been dealt the cards we've been dealt. I have said this before. Not one person in this council chamber would wish to make a council tax rise of 8%. I'm absolutely sure. But we have to make tough decisions to protect services and protect our residents. What I ask of this Labour opposition is that you do work together with the independent administration and lobby the finance minister, who a couple of months ago said that they would look at reforming council tax. And we need to make sure that happens. We need to make sure that there is rapid and radical review of council tax for the people of Merthyr Tydfil, because it is inequitable and unfair. We are paying some of the highest council tax in this country, more than some of our cities and more than some of the most affluent places in Wales. And that is unacceptable. And that's what we should be doing collectively. And that's what you should be doing, is lobbying your own political party in Cardiff to make sure that is done, and we will happily support you and work together with you on that. Last but not least, we talk about Westminster, and we've all had the budget today from the Chancellor. Obviously, we totally support what you say about that. It isn't a fair system that comes to Wales. I mentioned it last week about the fiscal investment not being the same as other home countries, about the need to radically reform and look back at the outdated Barnett formula. And that's what we need to do, not fight together in this chamber, not vote against a budget. We need to do what's right for the residents of Merthyr Tydfil. Thank you, Mr Mayor.
Thank you, Councillor Mytton. Councillor Gowan.
Council